Alright, what's up, everybody? I'm going to give you the behind the scenes story as to how I sold my first screenplay. So, the title is true, I did sell my first screenplay. However, much like I heard Penn and Teller once describe the secrets behind famous magic tricks and illusion, is the truth isn't fun. It doesn't really give you an aha epiphany moment. Instead, it's just ugly. But stick around until the end of the video because I'll give you practical insights as to how you can write and sell a quality script because you can certainly learn from my story. So, I'm Lord Max. I'm a best-selling author, film producer, and managing director or owner of Hoven Crow Entertainment. I showcase the best creative side hustles. If you want to learn how to make money as a writer, filmmaker, artist, etc., you've come to the right place. To the story. So, in short, my script was discovered by an up-and-coming director of photography who was looking to make a name for himself by directing basically a no-budget feature film. My film was a one-room thriller with a catchy hook, so they were highly intrigued, and they weren't the only ones. So the script received buzz on the platforms that I'll mention towards the end of the video. So I signed a little contract optioning the film essentially for free, and I allowed him to build a team for the film and find funding. But many years later, after I basically forgot about the script and the DP went on to work on other films, he eventually worked on big films and even went on to direct films other than mine and earned a reputation as like a quality DP and an up-and-coming director. And then made a bunch of connections with financing companies and everyone else that's sort of important in the industry. So he found financing, so I signed another contract, and then basically selling the film outright for him to make for a three-figure sum and a large percentage return of the film's profits. I was told never to do this, and I knew not to at the time, but I decided to take on a producer role as well so I could basically take control of the film and learn the process, which over time has actually proven to be a good move. So I signed a couple more contracts and then found myself like signing and creating a bunch of other legal documents as a producer, and quickly the financiers, they started to request script changes and like a totally new storyline and like unnecessary nudity scenes and then like made just a bunch of changes, and then that changed the budget. But when it got to be too much, we basically said no to their changes and they dropped their funding, so we were back at square one, back to zero. Many years later, after I finalized the budget and found new investors and scheduled a star and locations and crew and everything. And then it was delayed due to COVID and like floods because it was filmed over in India. But eventually the film was scrapped and dropped because it was like almost scene for scene, very much like another film that was a much higher budget with bigger stars. And it was released 6 years after I wrote the original script. It took that long for us to get it even like close to off the ground that by the time we were trying to release it, another film basically with the same plot was made. So it proved that it was a good story. People wanted it. But I was just too late. But anyway, so here's the websites I used to get noticed. Inktip.com was the main one. This is the best site if you're a screenwriter looking to pitch indie film producers. The site allows you to post your scripts to be found and for producers to post what they're looking for and the screenwriters to pitch them when the objectives are aligned. I want to make note that I was first discovered through my short scripts on that site. So I wrote like a few short screenplays and posted them on there, and those are free for anyone to read. So even the producers don't have to like become a member of the site in order to read them. And so because of this, people would see the title, and I had a catchy title, and then they would read mine And then the producers liked my writing, so then they'd reach out and either want to direct the short, or then they would see that and then say, hey, well, do you have any features that are like similar to this? And then that's kind of that might have been how that's definitely how a couple of my screenplays got noticed by bigger names. Was it started with like the short scripts. It wasn't like they jumped. Like there's certain methods you can use on that site where it's like you can send them like the log line, or like if they're seeking a certain genre. I never really got much traction on that. Like I got some, but it never led past like the log line. I think it like at one point it was like, okay, they liked, you have to like get to three steps before they even read the script. It's like the log line, then the synopsis, and maybe a trailer or something, or a poster. I haven't used it in a while, but yeah. But anyway, so yeah, the short scripts, that is how they can have value. They can lead to people wanting to read your full screenplays. But another website I used is a hub that is called Script Revolution, and it's actually and now it's somewhat old, but at the time it was like brand new whenever I first started using it. I feel like that was like 6 years ago. Nonetheless, I made a lot of connections through that site, and it's similar to Inktip, where like producers can get on there as well. It's mostly like a hub for screenplays and screenwriters, and that's where people can go to try to find writing talent. Um, and then the other one that I use, but I don't know if I've ever gotten really any traction off of it, is networkisa.org. It's similar to Inktip and allows producers to post what they're looking for and screenwriters to pitch the screenplays, but there's a monthly cost to, as well. I don't know if somebody's had success with that. Let me know. And maybe there's like aspects to that I need to explore. But the other key things relating to my story and other content is basically like you have to realize who you're selling to. You're not really selling to studios. You're selling to low-level producers like me, or directly to distributors and platforms, and they're not making $1 million movies. They're like making movies for like 10 to 50 grand, or for maybe 100K or more, maybe 100 to 250. And they know what sells, and they've done this a few times, and so what sells are high niche, like high concept films in a select niche that catch people's eyes on the screen. And other than that, they're making films that have like a societal or political impact, but it's they have a very clear like product that they're going for. So you need to make your story very clear, with a very clear genre, with an extreme high concept. I'm talking like obvious, like something like a high school volleyball sports drama, or like a giant shark horror, like that. Like just immediately, like the title. Um, and write a story with a few characters and just a few locations, but not too extreme. Instead of like a one-room thriller with two characters, try to expand it to like 3 to 5 locations with like 5 characters, mainly because that adds a lot more value. I've struggled with that. Like, it needs to be easy to film, but it can't be like just so limited that like that isn't like a marketable aspect as much anymore, to where like, yeah, I filmed a movie in like one room. Like that's just sort of been outdone, and people want like but to buy films that have sort of like exotic locations, or even like a clear location that they can market to, like this film is on a beach, or this film is in Tokyo, things like that. Anyway, hope that's helpful. If you like this, like and subscribe or whatever. And I'll catch you later. Thanks. Bye.